Alright, hello YouTubers. So, I haven't made a cooking video in a while, and it's just because I haven't been pulling the camera out. At the end of my videos I always say, make your own food. Well, I do, generally almost every day, cook all my own stuff. I certainly cook all my own dinners for work and stuff like that. This time of year I do chilies and stews and stuff like that. We'll probably do some casseroles pretty soon. But I just haven't been pulling the camera out. Edge Your Weapon did a really nice one the other day, so it inspired me to actually pull the camera out while I made stew today. So today I'm gonna make stew. This I would say maybe cost $8, maybe $10 at the most to make this. And a lot of this stuff I already have in my freezer anyways. I gotta use frozen vegetables. And I'll kind of go through and show you everything that's in it as we go along. The tag's already off this, but this was like $1 off. We always get the meat, whatever. And it's just a pot roast meat. Yeah, so, and a little Sea Hag IPA. But, yeah, so no, I'll cut everything up, and then I'll kind of show you the ingredients. It's, cutting stuff up, not that big of a deal. And we'll kind of go through it as I get to cooking it in the pot. So, here we go. Alright, you guys, here we go. I got everything all worked up, or cut up and ready. I worked in kitchens for a long time, and it's a thing called mise en place. You having all your ingredients ready. Whenever you start your shift cooking, it's the first thing you do. Anyways, when I cook at home, I try and do that here too. I get everything in its nice little happy spot, so that it's easy for me to deal with as I'm cooking. It also kind of helps you get all your ingredients out in front of you, so you don't forget something or lose something or go chasing for it when you need it, which will probably still inevitably happen too. But yeah, and I'll tell you the ingredients, and I'll give a list of ingredients at the end. Still sucking on this beer here. Now, there's two thoughts on stews, soups, whatever. Some people don't brown the meat, especially if you use a crock pot or something like that. You can get away with just throwing it all in there. I do like to brown my meat, and for a couple of reasons. I like the flavor it adds to it. It also gives me an opportunity to cook down the onions and garlic and stuff like that. I didn't show you guys cutting up this garlic. If you watch any of my old videos, I crush it and chop it up if you're interested in something like that. I am missing one ingredient that I would usually use in something like this, is celery. And I just forgot to get it from the grocery store the other day. So, anyways, here we go. So, meat goes in. Kind of get in there and let it set for a second so it'll start browning up. Decent amount of salt. When I do soups, I use regular pepper. Fresh ground's nice, but I feel like it doesn't make that big of a difference once you kind of cook it down. Regular stuff, it does make a difference. I like a decent amount in there. A little bit of Lawry seasoned salt and just about everything. Excellent kitchen utensil, wooden spoon. And as you can see, this just doesn't take that long. So yeah, there we go. I'll get that browned up a little bit, and we'll come back to it 1 second. Alright, you guys, this meat's been going for a little bit. Minutes, like just a few. If you notice in there, there's a lot of liquid. and it's from the fat that's coming off of this meat, and that's all fine and dandy. I get no problem with it. But I do want it to get kind of brown on my other stuff. So what I'm doing is I'm pouring the fatty water or liquid that came off there, which is all fat, back into this little dish, because I do want that. Part of it will be the olive oil and whatever. But I want this other stuff to brown up a little bit. I want to get some of that liquid out of there. So garlic goes in. And like I was saying before, you know, I'm making this for me and my girlfriend. So I'm putting the stuff in it that I want. So there's a lot of garlic in there. Alright. Now really I'm just trying to get those onions down to where they're clear before we start adding everything else in there. Alright, so let that cook for a minute. Alrighty guys, so it's been cooking for a minute. As you can see, it's almost burning, but really what it is, there's caramelization going on, coming off all this liquid. So, that's looking good. Alright, what I'm getting ready to add is tomato paste, which is literally tomatoes, ground up. Get all this out of here. I'm doing this for a couple of reasons. One, it'll work as a thickening agent. And a base for the sauce. Here we go, a little Victorinox in action. Ooh, look at there. Turn that heat down a little bit. But I'll work that tomato paste in. It'll kind of get all over everything. It'll start caramelizing with the pan, and then I'll pour some of that grease that came off of this meat. I like to kind of get tomato paste in a little bit. This brand's pretty good, but a lot of them kind of taste a little bit like the can. I don't like that. Anyway, so just get that worked in. It doesn't take long. Let it caramelize just a little bit. But like I was saying, this works as a real good thickening agent. And we've been getting this Nature's Promise brand quite a bit, but I've been pretty happy with. Yeah, ingredients are literally organic tomatoes. So, really can't go wrong with that. Alright. You can smell a lot of this stuff, especially if you've been doing it for a long time. I can smell that and it's starting to caramelize. So, you take that fat that I pulled off that meat, which is partially some of the olive oil too. Get that back in there to kind of break down the stuff off of this wall. Like I don't know if you can see, but that stuff just comes right off now. You could, it's deglazing. You could do it with wine or whatever. So, a little bit of moisture going on there. And then I'm going to go ahead and get some of these diced tomatoes in there. I just want to cook off some of the flavor from the can that tomatoes seem to have when they're canned. And I'm trying to get a little bit of liquid in there. Which reminds me, I need to get this on. Alright, it's my little GSI cup. I'm going to use bouillon. And so I wanted to heat that water up and dilute it. Put the bouillon in and dilute it. So once I get that done and let this cook for a second, we'll come back. Alright you guys, so a little bouillon cube. I got my little, I said it's GSI, I think it's a little GSI cup. I'll show you in 1 second. It's funny, Beast uses it all the time. I actually use it all the time in the house. Anyways, it's this little guy. So, little bouillon cube. And really you're just trying to get it broken up. And any broth, you can obviously get regular beef broth. Anyway, so I'm going to let this kind of sit off to the side and cook while I'm adding the rest of these ingredients. Basically get it in and kind of let it boil. It'll break down. You could even get away with just throwing it in the soup. Anyway, so corn. I put corn in everything. Like I said, this is really about what you want in it. I'm debating still if I actually want to or not want to put beans in this. I don't know. I'm going to put quite a bit of potato in it. So green beans, obviously. And all those are frozen, so they're really, really cheap. Get all that in. Give that a stir to kind of get this tomato stuff spread around a little bit. Alright. So as you can tell, this is pretty thick, man. There's basically equal amounts of potato and beef in here. About 4 cups of that, I think. Alright. Kind of get this going and start spicing this up a little bit. Now, I'll cook this probably the rest of the day. As you can tell, I just put those potatoes in not cooked. And I'll leave them that way. Or basically, when those are cooked, I'll know that it's starting to get close. And then the beef is really where it's at. Even if those potatoes break down some, what's important is that the beef is soft to the touch. This is chili garlic sauce from the Asian market. Love this stuff. A little bit for some flavor and some spice in there. That little stir. Now I'll add enough liquid to this to fill it up. So I really don't know how much liquid that is. It's probably good 8 cups at least. A little bit of Liam Farrell's Worcestershire sauce. This is the thick stuff. Just a little bit. Like I say, I'll cook this throughout the day, so I'll actually flavor this some more later on as I get going. Alright. Our little bouillons nice and cooked down in there. Got a little bit of the hunk still in there. Break that up a little. Yeah, and like I say, I'll get this up to a boil, and then I'll simmer it for probably the rest of the day. Alright, so there we go, you guys. That's about it. Once it's done later today, maybe I'll show you again. But you get an idea of it. And, you know, the whole point is doing this stuff to where it's the way you want it. So, there we go. Have a good day. And I'll throw in a pic at the end when it's done. Take it easy, you guys. Get outdoors and make your own food.